Hello! Oh my god, I had to do something with this hair. Better. Alright, so I am back with another book talk and I'm excited! Anyways, so today's book is Glass Houses by Rachel Caine. This is the first book in the Morganville Vampire series and I'm not sure how many books there are. I know the series is complete and my copy is so big because it's the first and second book and I'm actually currently reading the second book as we speak. This book is about a girl named Claire, and Claire is one of those really freakishly smart kids, and she's at the age of 16 and she is entering college at, I don't even remember what it is called, my bad. Anyway, so she's entering college and she is picked on by the popular girl of the school, Monica, and she's terrorized and I believe she's almost killed like twice in this book. And so she basically is run out of her dorm room and she has nowhere else to stay, so she finds this room for rent at this place that people call the Glass House. And she moves in there she moves in there with these three people, Eve, Shane, and Michael. And they begin to show her the ways of this town. Little does poor little Claire know that the town is run by vampires. So she is living with them and they manage to piss off the leading vampires. And they are off on this wild adventure to find this mystical ancient book that the vampires apparently cannot read except for humans. And so they are off to find this book to fix the trouble that they have caused within this town. And that is about it for the non-spoiler section. So if you have not read this book, please do not watch further because I don't want to ruin anything for you. And I'm glad you guys are back and we can talk about this book. I was actually kind of excited to read this because it is set in Texas and I live in Texas. And I like reading about books that I can relate to the place where it is set. Even though Morganville is made up, I can understand the temperature and the climate. Oh, that's the same thing. Anyways, I can understand all of that stuff about Texas because I live here and I know what it's like. And I can see how she portrays it, and apparently this author, as what I have read, this author has lived in Texas her entire life. So she has a pretty good feel for it, and it's nice to read something set in New York. The first thing I want to talk about is the first chapter, I believe, the first chapter with the whole thing with Monica and Claire. This feels completely Mean Girls to me. This feels like middle school torture, and I feel like, I understand Claire pissed off the wrong person, but really to try and kill her, like, that seems so unnecessary. Like, you don't have to kill somebody because they pissed you off. Yeah, steal their clothes in the dryer, but to push them down a flight of stairs, like, really? Like, she is psychotic. How is she not in prison? Honestly. I don't like that aspect of the book, like, at all. It just feels so stupid, and she could have developed that more and figured something out. The next thing, the whole changing thing with Michael. He's gasping and retching and he's in pain and you can't tell what's going on. And then you find out he's technically dead and I totally did not see him being a ghost. At first I thought he was a vampire and maybe he was one of those good vampires. He was like one of those weird people who sleeps all day and just stays up all night, like people who work night shifts, and I didn't see him being a ghost. I mean, that's a really cool aspect in how he comes back to life during the night hours. Like, that's really cool. I've never seen it put in that way in any, like, paranormal book I have read. That's really cool. I liked how she did that. The next one is Shane has come back and told them what idiotic decision he's made with Brandon about the whole leaving Claire alone decision. And, he's talking about sessions, and I understand Brandon's a vampire, so I understand that, but poor little Claire doesn't really understand this. And so she's sitting there looking at Shane, and she's like, was Shane gay? She hadn't even thought of that possibility. Like, hadn't crossed her mind that he was gay. Never crossed my mind that he was gay. I mean, I never got a gay vibe from him, but then again, sometimes my gaydar is broken. But yeah, that really cracked me up. I was like, you think he's gay, honey? It's nothing to do with sex. It's to do with drinking blood. You're a little ditzy. I mean, have you not ever read a vampire book? I mean, come on. You gotta be reading something else besides those textbooks. And let's discuss ships for this book. I started reading and we meet Michael, and oh my god, Michael and Shane just sound so attractive to me. I don't know why. I think it's partly because they're fictional characters, and I seem to have a thing for fictional characters. But we meet Michael and Claire, and I was like, they're totally gonna end up together. I could not have been more wrong. I don't think I've ever been that wrong with like pairing people together in books. I've never been that wrong. But she ends up with Shane, so that's still okay. They make a really cute couple. I think they're adorable together. Later on, they've devised this plan for this book, and they don't actually know where it is, so they're gonna make their own fake copy of this book. And I'm like, good thing you're a teenage genius, child, because I probably would have not thought about that if I was in your position. And she's talking, you know, she's at that one point that all teenagers seem to go through when you like a guy. You like him, but then you try to convince yourself that you don't like him, and it really doesn't work, because then you just like him more, and you're like, stop it, I don't like him, but you actually do. Anyways, and she's talking, and she's like, sweet 16 and never been kissed. I can relate to that line extremely well, because at the age of 16, I'd never been kissed. Still haven't, and it's really depressing for those of us who have not been kissed, and I might start crying. And I swear to God, if anybody comments how cute that is, I will shank you through this computer. Like, it's not cute, it's depressing. Now, one thing about this book that does not make sense to me is Claire's parents live in Texas, which is exactly where this college is located, in Texas. But when she goes to call her parents from the house phone, they say she has to pay for the long distance call. You're in Texas. You're in the same freaking state. How is it a long distance phone call? I can call my friend who lives 3 hours away from me, and it would not be considered a long distance call. Why is it a long distance call? It does not make sense to me. I mean, maybe I don't understand what a long distance call is, but I thought a long distance call had to be, I don't know, halfway across the country? Somebody explain this to me, because I don't understand it. Then we have Oliver. I thought he was going to be one of my early favorite characters because he seemed so hipster and cool, and I'm a bit hipster myself. Just kidding. I'm probably as far from hipster as you can get. I just like the glasses. But yeah, I totally thought he was going to be one of my favorite characters, and I was going to love him. I thought he was on the good guys team. And then it turns out to be a bad guy, and also a vampire, and I did not see him being a vampire. I mean, he runs a coffee shop, and he's out during the daylight. And then also that he's the one who killed Michael. Like, totally did not see that coming. This next line was another line that kind of cracked me up. There are several lines in this book that crack me up because I don't know, I just laugh at things. So this is when they are in the coffee shop and Oliver has just sent Brendan outside, and Claire's like, how can he do that? I mean, wouldn't Brendan like kill him? Like, vampires have no mercy in this book apparently. Like, wouldn't he just kill him? And Eve's like explaining to him, I don't know what it is, he's got something. And she's talking and she's like, kill him? I wish I knew. He's got balls of platinum for one thing. Like, platinum? I've never heard platinum used. I always hear balls of steel, but never balls of platinum. So I was just like, what? I might actually start using that, because that's really creative. I like how she threw in a different word there. One of my favorite scenes is towards the end of chapter 11, I believe it is, and it's Michael and Shane, and Michael is telling Claire she needs to go to bed, and she's just kind of staring at him like, you can't control me. I'm 16, I'm in college, my parents aren't here, I can do whatever the hell I want. And then Michael sits down on the couch, and he's like, what I gathered from it, it sounded like when you sit next to somebody and you're like practically sitting on top of them, and he's like, scoot over, man, I don't like you that much. Dick, that's not what you said last night. Bite me. Like, that shows you how much of best friends they are. Like, that sounds like a conversation my best friend and I have on the daily, because it's that playful meanness that you have with your best friend. I mean, I just like that. I don't know. It just showed how close they were, and I was like, sounds like something me and my best friend would, and why do I keep doing like shoulder movements? I don't understand. And then the whole thing where we find out where the actual little book is, it's hidden in Professor Wilson's library in a Bible, and that is genius. Like, to cut out a hollow square within a book and put another book or something else in it, that just blows my mind. That's so creative. I probably would not have thought about that if I was in Professor Wilson's position. But he was really smart for thinking about that. And he's kept it hidden for, I don't even know how many years he had it. Oh, that was so genius. I can't explain to you how genius that is. Now, let's talk about some romantic stuff here. Cue lame romantic music that I do not have. Anyways, so we've got Shane and Claire in her room, and they're sitting on the bed, and you know you can feel the sparks flying, and you're like, oh, something's gonna happen, something's gonna happen, something's gonna happen. And then they kiss, and I was like, yes! Because I kissed, and I was like, yes, finally. I knew it was gonna happen. And the one thing I liked about this is it wasn't like the perfect kiss. You know? Like in all the fan fiction and other romance stories I've read, it's always like the first kiss is absolutely perfect. Nothing wrong goes. I mean, I believe they bump noses, and like it's so realistic. It sounds exactly how a first kiss would probably go when you're both nervous. And it was so cute, and I just appreciate the realism she put into that kissing scene. I was just like, oh, if only I could experience that. This is probably my favorite line in this entire book, and it's Shane, and it's when the whole house is being invaded by people because they're trying to kill them. And it's so funny because it's Shane, and he's got, I believe it's a baseball bat, and this chick in front of him, and he's gonna hit her. And then he just stops and thinks, and he's like, he just stops, and he looks at Claire, and he's like, I can't hit a girl. Here, Claire, you hit her. Like, the fact that he wouldn't hit the girl, but he gave the bat to Claire so she could beat her, so he could still watch it. I mean, it's nice that he didn't actually hit her, but she still got beat. She still got the crap beat out of her. That sounds hilarious. That, like, he didn't take advantage of beating her and just gave it to Claire so it could be legal. Sort of. And this is probably a close second to that line about Claire being the girl and she should be able to hit him because he can't hit her because she's a chick. And it's after everybody's left, and you know, Michael is finally reappearing after being dead for the day. They were just sitting down for dinner when the sun went behind the horizon, and Claire heard the sound of a body hitting the floor, followed by dry retching. Michael's home, Eve said, as if he'd just come home from school. Like, it's funny how this whole thing is just already natural to her. You hear a body hit the floor, and you hear like retching sounds, and she's like, oh, guess Michael's home. You know, it's like, hey honey, I'm home, with his body hitting the floor and those weird noises. Like, I found that really funny, and I actually almost started cracking up in algebra class because of that. Alright, well that is it for this lovely, okay, I have been like avoiding doing this the entire video, but I feel because of the shirt I'm wearing I have to advertise. So, drink more Coca-Cola. I don't even know why I have this shirt, I don't really like Coke. Anyways, that's it for this book talk. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment about anything I said or like suggesting new books. Subscribe, message me, whatever. I don't care. I love talking to you guys. Should have a tag video up sometime soon, and then my February book haul is up, and I will leave the link in my pants if you want to read it. Yeah, so have a fantabulous day and night, evening, morning, whatever. Bye!